I am the intellectual cousin of Mitch. My advisors were Marvin Minsky, godfather of AI, and Alan Kay, the godfather of every laptop you are all owning and tablet today. The first thing they told me, as when I became their student, was not necessarily to take their classes. It was to take Seymour's classes. And so Seymour, you taught me to be participatory. Why? Because every time I walked into one of your classes, Seymour, I was surrounded and embraced by the intellectual community that absolutely has changed how I think about things and what I brought to eventually call the participatory design, the co-design movement that we have embraced here at IDC. And so what I'm going to do is to give you a few seeds of Seymour. So Seymour, I don't know if you remember, but in your classes, you would say an awful lot of things that eventually, thank goodness, you wrote down. And so the quotes that I'm going to share with you, Seymour, let's see if maybe one or two of them resonate, but you should know, you said them many more years before the quote I have there is stated. So, first quote. Why should children be segregated by ages? Why do we even have this idea of people of one age spending most of their time together in a classroom? Children learn better and are able to develop emotionally in very mixed age families. Yes. Now we heard today, actually in one of our talks, this shouldn't be true for teenagers. And I actually politely disagree, because I spent so many wonderful years with an intellectual community in those seminars, which ranged from Edith sitting on one side, idc13 sitting on another piece of the furniture, all of the grad students sitting around from Hennigan School, and then, I was stuffed in there, and then as soon as I was done, I would go meet Cynthia Solomon and Margaret Minsky and the Vivarium folks, and you know what? We were all different ages, and the intellectual community that came about was because of how much we elaborated on each other's ideas. And so if you were to think about co-design and participatory design, one of the tenets of it is intergenerational design. It refers to today's learning communities. It refers to how we do elaboration. Okay, next quote, Seymour. The big shift is social rather than technological. The transformation is in the kids. Yes, we are absolutely changing the course of technology and of how we think about technology. But it is the shift of what's inside of us all that actually really makes the difference. And I would say that one of the things that was instilled in all of us was the approach of, let's take away the notion of consuming information and bring it to creating information and creating ideas. But what Seymour knew, maybe instinctively, was that we would move from creation to community. And it is that social participation and that empowerment of voice that today lives in all of that we do in terms of co-design, in terms of our social media, and many, many new things that are happening today. All right, next quote. Mike, you're going to like this one. What you can't do with paper and pencil is make it work and fix it. Now, this one actually came about when Seymour was asked a question At a keynote speech he was making at the University of Maryland. Seymour, you and I spent a really long dinner together talking before this thing, and I wrote down so many things that night. And in fact, actually, somebody asked this question to Seymour, and basically what he said was, so what's the difference? Paper and pencil, computers, what you're saying, your theories, isn't it the same? And it's not the same. It's about iterative design. It's about the maker movement. It's about 3D printers. It's about computational crafts. It's about how we tinker and how we explore our ideas. And that started in much of what we learned about in the early 80s or the mid 80s. But obviously it started many more years before that in the 60s and 70s. Okay, one last quote. Child power. Children as an intellectual power, as a political power exerting a force for ideas about education that existed long before there were computers. I take that to mean, guess what? Kids of ideas, they're not short adults waiting to happen. It's participatory design, folks. All right? It's the seeds of what has become thinking about children as design partners, thinking about that children have a point of view that matter, that can change our new technologies. It's not just about how those technologies change children, it's about how children change those technologies with us in partnership. And so, the pictures, the broad brushstrokes that I give you are beautiful illustrations I found on the web that I attribute, because I didn't need to give you pictures, actual real pictures of Seymour, because it's how we interpret Seymour that matters. Okay, yes, Seymour, it's also who you are, and we love you too, okay? But it's all of the things, the broad brushstrokes of Seymour, the intergenerational design, social participation, iterative design, participatory design, that today make up what IDC, what interaction design in children are. And Seymour, we thank you. I thank you.